I read something truly illuminating, apparently, describing a man claiming a woman's mouth in a purely male manner is enough to make a light bulb go off over someone's head, followed by tears. And the name Nora Roberts. What is happening?
An energetic observation derived, I gather, from reader reactions to the book we're discussing today, which is Let Me See Blood Moon by Sandra Brown.
Sandra Brown. The name my mama introduced me to as a teenager. Probably shouldn't have, considering some of the reactions we've seen. People getting awkward listening at work.
Right. The context provided suggests it's a romantic suspense novel, coastal Louisiana. A detective, John Bowie, pronounced, several reviewers insisted, like The Knife, teams up with a true crime producer, Beth Collins. There's a cold case, a blood moon theory.
A cookie theory. According to at least one person who felt the motive was thin. Thin. Like my patience for people who pronounce Bowie wrong. It's like The Knife people. Get it right.
And they face opposition from the detective's corrupt boss while navigating an attraction. That seems to be the gist gathered from various reader accounts.
Gist. That's underselling the absolute chaos. The division? People are either calling this thing sizzling or insta-lust. One reviewer actually typed out a rolling eyes emoji. Right there in the review. Can you imagine the sheer passive aggression?
There certainly were contradictory takes on the romance element. Some found the chemistry palpable. Others felt it developed rapidly. One comment mentioned declarations of love appearing primarily in the epilogue.
The epilogue? After a week of knowing each other. That's not romance. That's a hostage situation with feelings. Or maybe just efficient. Like that reviewer comparing Sandra Brown books to cereal and milk. Fills you up, serves a purpose. Is that what love is now? A bowl of cornflakes.
An interesting analogy, though perhaps not universally shared. The male lead, John Bowie himself, seems to be a major point of contention.
Contention? It's a war zone. Is he a strong, capable protagonist? Or, and I quote, broddy, rude, crude, emotionally shut off with constant, lustful thoughts? A Neanderthal. People are throwing around Neanderthal.
The descriptions do vary significantly, praised for integrity by some, criticized for being overly dominant or preoccupied by others. One reviewer specifically quoted his internal thought, "No way in hell, lady. No matter how delectable your lips," complete with another disapproving emoji.
Delectable lips? See, Neanderthal. Or maybe his just misunderstood. Like a grumpy badger with a heart of gold. A badger who happens to be, according to reviewers, possibly drinking too much and definitely ogling the heroin. And pronounced like The Knife. Did I mention that?
It seems the pronunciation was a point of emphasis for several readers. His also described as haunted by an old case involving a missing girl, Crissy Mellin, and dealing with a corrupt boss, Tom Barker.
Ah yes. Tom Barker, asshole extraordinaire. That's not my description. That's straight from a reviewer. Along with his henchman the ogre. Sounds like a Saturday morning cartoon villain lineup. I bet they tied Beth to some railroad tracks. Did anyone mention railroad tracks?
No mention of railroad tracks, though one reviewer did compare certain elements to B-rated 90s crime flicks, finding the villains somewhat dated.
Dated? Exactly. Like finding a floppy disk in your cereal box. Speaking of which, this whole book experience, according to reviewers, is like that cereal reliable. Gets the job done. Is that praise? It feels like a backhanded compliment wrapped in bran flakes.
Interpretations vary. There were also stark contradictions in other areas. Pacing, for instance. Some found it fast-paced, riveting, unputdownable. Others called the pacing weird or slow in certain parts.
Weird pacing. Slow parts. How can it be both riveting and a snooze fest? Were people reading different books? Maybe the blood moon itself was messing with their perception of time. Or maybe the book is like cereal. Sometimes it's crunchy and exciting. Sometimes it gets soggy.
A possibility, I suppose. The ending twist also generated conflicting reactions. Widely described as shocking, unexpected, something that flipped everything over completely. Yet, some found it foreseeable or even disappointing. One simply said, "The epilogue is meh at best, okay bye."
Okay, bye. The sheer dismissiveness. But others were having oh my god what moments. Jaw on the floor. People were gobbling this up. Like Pac-Man devouring dots. One person admitted using text-to-speech while doing chores just to keep consuming it. Imagine vacuuming furiously while a robot voiced details. Well, we'll get to that.
The intensity of reader engagement was frequently noted. Phrases like "couldn't put it down," "edge of your seat," "heart pounding," "finished the book in one night" appear often. Tied, it seems, to the suspense and that final revelation.
That twist. They wouldn't say what it was, just that it was a shocker. Like finding out your quiet neighbor collects porcelain dolls that whisper stock tips. And speaking of shocking, let's talk about the spicy bits.
Ah, yes, reviewers consistently mentioned the presence of explicit sexual content, described using terms like graphic, steamy, and SFW, and accompanied by chili pepper emojis.
Chili peppers. Is that the official rating system now? How many peppers for awkwardly listening at work? Because someone admitted to that. Picture it. Trying to look professional during a Zoom call, while Kiefer Brewer, who apparently nailed Bowie, knife, pronunciation, and all is narrating something that makes you blush like a teenager caught reading, well, a Sandra Brown novel.
The narrator, Kiefer Brewer, did receive widespread acclaim according to the notes. His voice, his portrayal of Bowie.
Pronounced like the knife. But back to the spice. Some called it gratuitous sex always found in Sandra Brown's novels. Others noted the bold contrast with the thriller elements. Bold contrast. Like wearing a tuxedo to a mud wrestling match. Is that the vibe?
The integration of the romance and its explicitness was certainly debated. Alongside the praised atmospheric Louisiana setting, which many felt the author used masterfully, captures and ensnares my imagination, one said.
Ensnares? Like a Venus flytrap. Maybe that Bayou setting isn't just atmospheric, maybe it's actively malevolent, luring you in with Spanish moss and humidity before. Bam. Insta-lust and a corrupt police chief. It all makes sense now.
An imaginative theory. It does raise questions for the listener, perhaps. We see these strong divisions in the reviews, particularly around John Bowie. Is he, as some suggest, a compellingly flawed hero? Or, as others insist, just crude and unlikable? Listeners, what's your take? Can a Neanderthal be a hero? Let us know.
Efficiently Neanderthal. There's a difference. Like comparing a sledgehammer to a regular hammer. Both get the job done. One just makes a bigger dent. And speaking of dents, the police corruption theme. Shoddy police work, browbeat a confession, institutional corruption. It's all in there.
Yes, reviewers frequently highlighted the theme of police corruption as central to the plot, often involving Bowie's boss, Barker, the asshole extraordinaire. It seems accepted as part of the genre's landscape.
Accepted. It sounds like Tuesday in Louisiana, according to this book. You've got Bowie, trying to do good, probably smelling faintly of whiskey and purely male intentions, fighting the ogre. It's practically Shakespeare. If Shakespeare wrote B-rated 90s crime flicks involving blood moons.
So, considering the spectrum of reactions, the oh my god so freaking good, versus the May epilogue, the sizzling chemistry versus the insta-lust, the beloved narrator versus the Nora Roberts comparison, where do you land?
Where do I land? I land squarely in the camp of bewildered amusement. This book sounds like a beautiful disaster piece. Therefore, for Blood Moon, I award it 3 out of 5 pronounced like the knife reminders, a full asshole extraordinaire boss rating, -1 awkward, listening at work incident. It's a complex system, don't question it.
Right. Well, the reader feedback indicates extreme polarization. Praised atmosphere and suspense, a highly acclaimed narrator, but deeply divided opinions on the romance, the male lead's character, and the ultimate satisfaction of the ending.
Exactly. Which means, dear listeners, you probably have to read Blood Moon yourself to figure out if you're team sizzling chemistry or team Insta. Lust cereal bowl. Are you team compelling broody hero or team delectable lips Neanderthal? The choice is yours if you dare enter the bayou.
Indeed, a book that seems to provoke strong feelings one way or another.
Next week, we're tackling a book reviewers claim was dictated entirely by squirrels. Get ready.
I will prepare accordingly.
Keep it weird, folks.